What's happening, guys? What's happening, guys? Welcome to the latest and greatest episode of Terrible Towel Tuesday. I am your host, SimFBallCritic, live from the Steel Basement. What's happening, guys? What's happening? Give me 2 seconds, guys. Bear with me. I'm just sending the link to a few special someones. My pops being one of them. Yeah, my pops, man. My pops enjoys watching me on the show. I didn't even know that. He actually yelled at me and got upset with me when I didn't send him the show. You know, he don't know nothing about, following you on YouTube and all that and being subscribed. No, you got to let him know when the show is ready. So I'm sending it to my dad, man, and then we can get cracking. But what's happening? How's everybody doing? How are you guys enjoying the playoffs so far? Obviously, outside of the Pittsburgh Steelers, I know, guys, we're still licking our wounds. You're upset. You cried. You got mad. You kicked the wall. All of the above. Hold on, guys. Had to get something off the floor there. But what's going on, folks? Let's get into it, man. Listen, the season is over, but I just want to reflect on a few things, man. I have some notes here. I have about 5 about 5 or 6 things I want to get into. As you see in the title, I said the film tells the story of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And literally, guys, I watched the Ravens game. I've watched 2 full quarters on the All-22, and man, that's all I can say. And I'm going to give my comments on that. I'm also going to entertain the commentary of Mike Tomlin in terms of, everyone is saying now, should the Steelers move on from him? And I'm just going to, bring some reality to that situation as far as what it's going to take for that to happen. And kind of just follow up on what I said, man, Tuesday after the game. I was pretty fired up after that game. And I echoed some of the same comments and sentiments that I had from the previous week. So we'll get into it, but let's dive right in. Phone calls as well, guys. Phone calls will return next week. They will return next week. All right. And once we get there, I'll let you know how you'll be able to call in, but they will return next week. So give me one more week. But let's say hello to the early commenters, man. Why Diggy, my man? What's up, brother? Crazy Ron Gaming, Steeler Cards. Hello, Lanisha. The lovely Lanisha, the faithful Lanisha, showing up each and every week, man. Hello, Lanisha. Hope you're having a great evening, a great week, great life, all of the above. And fellas, y'all know the routine, man. Lay out the red carpet for our lovely ladies. Treat them with care. Who else we got? Is it Faki Balboa? I think so. Mark Cunningham. What's up, Mark, my man? My guy, Mark Cunningham, in the building as well. The infamous Tim. Hello, Angie, a.k.a. Baby Steeler. Hello, Angie. Again, another one of our lovely ladies, man. Make sure you take care of them, fellas. Trey88, Dr. Trey88 is in the building as well. Night Rider in the building. Debbie. Oh, man, Debbie. Look, the ladies out heavy tonight. We don't always get to see Debbie live, man. Debbie is a very busy woman. She has a lot going on, man, and we're happy and proud of Debbie, man, for being busy and having a lot going on. Always applaud that. So sometimes she's not always here at the start of the show, and sometimes she's not even able to make this show all the time, or if she does, it's later on. So we always love when Debbie shows up. Absolutely. What's up, Debbie? Hoping you're having a great evening as well. Who else we got? Dietrich Bundick is in the building. Steeler Cards in the building. I might have said that already, but what's up twice? I seem to do that with you a lot, Steeler Cards. I seem to forget I already read your name, so I end up saying it twice. Who else is in the building, man? Of course, my good brother Kenyon in the building. BQ412, Will I Am, Jack Bauer. And that's about it right now in terms of commenters. So we'll go ahead and get right to the action. Guys, listen. There's quite a few things I want to discuss after just watching the first half of the All-22 and just compiling it, guys, with what I've seen over the last 5 weeks, what I've seen through certain stretches of this season. But we'll stay very, very close to the last 5 weeks, not only because the Steelers lost all 5 of those games, but also because the manner in which they lost, right? Both defensively and offensively in some cases. And there's some question marks I have, guys, around Russell Wilson. Again, we're kind of repeating ourselves a little bit, but I always have to, rehash some of my thoughts and concerns or comments from a prior show because everyone doesn't see each and every show. All right. So I want to make sure a lot of the stuff that I talked about what night did we play? Saturday night, post game, I come here and kind of rehash that and recap that. So first and foremost, I want to talk about, where's my notes here? I want to get into talking about how the Steelers, how they played the zone read, man, against the Ravens. Very poor effort. What I mean by saying very poor effort, guys, what I noticed, and I went back and I watched the film from the second Ravens matchup, and I watched this past weekend as well. Here's the reason why they were able to gash us so much. Outside of, the Ravens offensive line laying good blocks and those guys just blocking it up well, we very rarely committed to both Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson. Very rarely. You go back and you watch the Week 16 game, we spent most of our time paying attention to Lamar Jackson. Most of it. Right? We spent a good amount of time focusing on him, and then we would tackle the running back. This particular contest, we crashed heavy on the running back, and we left Lamar Jackson alone quite often, guys. And when I say alone, I mean everybody crashes to Derrick Henry, and Lamar has the edge with nobody impeding his progress. I mean, literally no one. But what's so odd about it, guys, is when we decided to have a guy play the running back and one other guy play Lamar, we were pretty successful. Now, I know some of you guys are probably saying to yourself, Sim, what do you mean we're pretty successful? They ran for 299 yards. Yeah, because they had big runs. But I'm telling you, and I only watched the first half of the All-22. I haven't gotten through the second half yet. Y'all know it's difficult for me, during the week and with me commuting on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. I haven't had time to really sit down with it. But just in the first half alone, there are at least maybe four plays, maybe 5, when we had somebody playing both Lamar and Derrick Henry. And we were able to stuff it. Like, the most we may have given up might have been a couple yards here, a couple yards there. But every time they popped one, we either crashed Derrick Henry heavy and left Lamar alone, or we only played Lamar. Craziest thing I've ever seen, man. Round of applause to the last King of Scotland, man, starting off the night with the Wonder Bread. I appreciate you. He says, Tomlin, OC, DC, or the O-line coach. One has to go. This is a tough one, last King of Scotland. Let's entertain that for a minute. Let's entertain his question for a minute, and I want you guys and gals in the chat to answer as well, because tonight is going to be a lot of call and response. I'm going to kind of throw some certain things at you guys, and I want to, see what you have back so I can get you guys involved. Since, again, no phone calls tonight, that will be returning next week. But what do you guys think? I'm going to give my thought. He says, Tomlin, OC, DC, or O-line coach. One of them has to go. Who is it going to be? Yikes. You're forcing my hand here but I'm going to say OC. But let me explain why. No. Falky Balboy, you can't say two. Let's play the game. We always, and I'm just picking fun with you, but we always try to cheat and hedge. No. Play the game. Anybody who comments, you can only comment one. Only one. Yeah, like I said, I'm just having fun with you, Falky. But let's play the game. Let's play the game. I'm gonna say the OC, and here's the reason why. I'm gonna give you guys some substance, I'm always asking y'all to give me substance, so I'm gonna give you guys substance so you can understand at least my theory. I would love to see OC and DC, but I can only pick one. So I would say offensive coordinator. Here's the reason why. Early portion of the season, Steelers defense wasn't half bad, right? There was a time where the Steelers defense was pretty solid. We ranked as high as 4th. I can't remember if it was overall defense or if it was against the pass, but remember, we ranked pretty high. Now, I will say this. Let's quantify that. The Steelers defense, and I've been saying this for several weeks, the Steelers defense still gave up explosion, but we were able to get off the field here and there. Remember those games, guys, when we were beating up the offense? Remember some of those games, how many 3 and outs the defense got? So they were able to get off the field, and they were able to produce turnovers. Now, Terrell Austin is just not one of my favorites in terms of his philosophy, and Tomlin must, include that philosophy as well, I'm thinking. But the defense was able to play good, really solid at spots of the season. So that means it's possible. Now, some of you guys are going to say, well, so did the offense. But here's the reason why I would change the offense if I could only do one. Because our offense wasn't consistent enough, right? Even if the defense is leaking a little bit, you got to have an offense that's consistent and sustain drives to at least take pressure off of the defense. Even if they don't score, you got to have lengthy drives to win time of possession, win the field position battle. And if you continue to have sustained drives, you're going to start getting field goals. And then if you continue to do that, those will turn into touchdowns. Our offense was too stagnant in approach. And the way we approached it, it was very stagnant. So I would rather have a more newfound offensive approach that can allow us to start gaining more yards per game, gaining more time of possession, gaining more points, obviously, because if you do that, I think the Steelers did have enough talent on defense. They're going to give up something, but they would have been able to stay in a lot of these games if the offense gave them opportunities. I would say the same thing about the offensive line coach. Yeah, the offensive line hasn't been great, but there were times when the offensive line didn't do too bad. And also, I'm not putting it all on the coach. We got film showing us where players were either missing blocks or players were just not executing. Let me give you an example. Would you guys agree with me if I were to say that Zach Frazier and Mason McCormick performed pretty darn well, pretty darn good this season? Would y'all agree with that? And even if you don't agree with both, would you agree that largely Zach Frazier played his behind off? If you agree with that statement, do you not give Pat Meyer any credit? Do you not give Pat Meyer any credit as the coach for having 2 rookies that played solid? And if you say, sure, I'll give him credit, then now we got to look at the individual. We got to look at a Broderick Jones when he has bad games, because Broderick Jones also had spurts where he played better, but then he had these bonehead moments. Did y'all see the clip out there floating around on X? I think Steelers Depot posted it, or at least some writers for Steelers Depot, where there was a play where both Broderick Jones and I think, was it McCormick or Dan Moore, but 2 guys pulled this guy here and they end up pulling into each other like that. That's not offensive line coach to me. But again, I'm not going to tell anybody which coach to choose. I'm telling you why I would choose that. And then obviously, I'm not going to say Mike Tomlin because, again, I still think that Mike Tomlin is a great football coach, great leader of men, great motivator. You know, I still think Mike Tomlin is a coach that could get the job done with the right situation. A franchise quarterback, a new franchise quarterback, a competent offensive coordinator, minor adjustments here and there on defense. I think a Mike Tomlin-led team, yes, I do believe that listen, here's the caveat, with a new philosophy, not the traditional Mike Tomlin philosophy, a new philosophy. A Todd Haley philosophy on offense. You take that killer bee offense, not just the players. I'm just talking about the production and pair it with the current defense. Even with the holes that they have on defense, the Steelers are more formidable. No doubt about that. I think we all would agree if we had the defense that the Steelers have had, say, the last 3 or 4 years, if we had that defense paired with the offense of 2018 when we played Jacksonville, do we win that game? Even if you don't like this year's defense, take the 2022 defense, 2023. Take that defense with that year offense. Do the Steelers win? Do the Steelers perhaps make it to the Super Bowl or the AFC Championship game? If your answer is yes, it would be the same head coach. You see where I'm getting at? So that's the only reason why I would say that. Now, of course, we all can make an argument for it being Tomlin, being Terrell Austin, being Arthur Smith, or Pat Meyer. So that was a nice little exercise there. Let me see what some of you guys are saying really quick. Lanisha says O-line coach. Okay. Y Diggy says if I had to pick one, O-line coach. Okay. Steeler Card says O-line coach for sure. Won't be back. Okay. What else you guys got? I agreed. Arch Steeler says I agree. Kenyan offensive line, but we had major injuries. Okay. What else? Tony Smith says OC is trash, so I'm assuming he's saying OC. Okay. See, that was just a quick exercise, man. And again, it's to show each and every one of us that we all have different opinions. Right? Everybody's thinking that they're right and has the right answer. And that's what I try to convey here on this show. Is like, guys, there's no right or wrong. There shouldn't be any finger pointing. See, no, you did it, and you said that, and then no, Sim, and it's just opinions. None of us are in the organization. None of us are on the coaching staff. None of us are the owner. We're just giving our opinion. None of us know 100% for sure what each and every problem is. TJ Watt said it's not just one thing, it's many things. But I know some people took that as a narrative. Oh, he's talking about Tomlin. How do you know? Like, I just try to stay away from speculation. I try to give my opinion based on what I have and what the eye test tells me on the field. In terms of coaching and all of that, guys, we don't know. You can say you do, but you don't. So that's why I just try to keep it neutral in that regard, right? All right, so getting back to what I was saying, guys. Where was I before I went there? Let's see. Yeah, the zone read, man. We just played it horribly, guys. And again, for all of you guys who have the opportunity to watch film, watch this last game on the All-22, and you're going to hear, or excuse me, you're going to see what you're hearing me say. The times that we decided to commit a guy to Henry and or Hill and another guy to Lamar Jackson, we had success against the run. Troy Aikman, or whoever that was calling the game, was it Aikman? Or no, who was it? I forget who the commentators were that night. But one of them said the same thing. It might have been Aikman. I don't remember who it was, but one of them said the same thing. They literally said it on air. It was a play where when they used Peyton Willis, I cannot call that boy name right. When they used Peyton Wilson to scrape and play Lamar, and they used somebody else, forget who it was, but they had somebody playing Lamar and somebody playing Henry, and we stuffed it. But every single Herb Street, there you go. Thanks, Walter. Every single time they popped one with Lamar or Derrick Henry, we were only keying on one guy. And most of the night, we were just crashing Henry or crashing Justin Hill. And I mean, literally giving Lamar the outside. It was bad. Go watch it. Now that, I would personally say, that's a coaching mistake. I put the majority of that on Terrell Austin. It's his defense. Maybe Tomlin had a hand in that as well. Again, we don't know how involved Tomlin is in the defense, right? Because when you pan to the sideline, you literally see Terrell Austin calling the plays. So I believe Mike Tomlin has a hand in the defense as far as approach. But remember, we went through this a few years ago where everybody swore up and down, oh, Tomlin is calling it this, and that. And then we saw, who was it? Keith Butler or one of them. We saw them literally with the play card calling the plays, but we still wanted to blame Tomlin. Like I said, Tomlin, I'm sure, has a hand in the philosophy. But when you're watching the game, and if you really pay attention, when they pan to the sideline, even in some certain situations on Hard Knocks, they show you that the coordinator is calling the play. So that's why I put the brunt of the blame on the coordinator in terms of in-game plan. Because regardless of what plan we came into the game with, whether it came from the top, from Tomlin on down, you still have the job of executing play calls. Rarely did we blitz the run. We just let them run it over and over and over and over. It's the weirdest thing to see. So if you get a chance to go watch it, man, I just don't understand the philosophy we use to try to stop the zone read. It was crazy, man. I mean, we made it such an easy, elementary read for Lamar. Oh, crash, run. Oh, staying at home, hand it off. It was simple. But like I said, go back to RG3's rookie season. The way we played them to stop him and Alfred Morris, we had a guy play him and a guy play Alfred every play. And we kept them from rushing for over 100 yards, which they did against every other team in the league that season. I don't understand the plan, man. It's go watch it and you'll understand what I'm saying. Another thing I wanted to talk about. Guys, y'all have probably heard me say this. I'm going to be modest and say maybe the last 3 weeks. Have not been saying this in the entire season. I have not been saying this when Russ was cooking. But you guys who see my All 22 breakdown, sorry about the previous week. I will get that to you guys this week from this playoff game. From you guys who've been able to see that All 22 footage, y'all have heard me say these words before. Russell Wilson is missing throws. I'm not talking about accuracy. I'm talking about not even throwing it. One of the biggest knocks against Russell Wilson in his career, we all know, we all heard about, doesn't attack the middle of the field. It showed up. It showed up in these last few weeks. It showed up Saturday. I sent Kenyon and Tony a couple plays earlier tonight, and guys, it's bad. It's bad. There's plays where there was a play. Hold on. We got Wonder Bread. I'll get right back to it. Round of applause, man, to the infamous Tim. I appreciate the Wonder Bread, brother. The infamous Tim says, TA don't call bad plays how he wants them. Huh? What? He says, TA don't call bad plays. How he wants them run is the problem. How he wants them ran is the problem. Okay. The way our LB zone drop and the amount of space DBs give is crazy. That is coaching. Yes. I'm going to talk about that too in a minute. Yes. It's how they play it. Because again, guys, listen, football is fairly simple. And I'm not saying it's easy. I'm saying it's fairly simple. You hear players say it all the time. Those of us who play football in our life understand it. And those of us who understand higher level football would understand it. It's simple in terms of concepts. But where it gets tricky is how you play these concepts, what techniques you use, how far you drop in zones, right? If you're running match, if you're passing things off and all of this different stuff, if you give guys the ability to freelance and have great communication when they see certain things, if you have guys go find work and not just play an area, like it's so many different nuances, but the concept is simple. So when Infamous Tim says that, he is correct. When he says, look, man, the plays aren't necessarily bad. It's just how he wants them played out is the issue. In a lot of areas, especially in past situations. And I'm going to come back to that. So let me get back to what I was saying about Russell. Guys, there was a play with Calvin Austin in the first quarter. He runs an over route. He has about 2-3 steps on Nate Wiggins. First, when I looked at it from the sideline view, I'm like, maybe Russ didn't see him because Russ was looking this way. He did the dump down, I think, to Donnell Washington. When I looked at the end zone view, Calvin Austin does this, comes right in front of him. You see Russell's head look in the middle, and then he turns to the left and dumps it down. Guys, Calvin, like I'm telling you, had about 2, maybe 3 steps on him. Am I lying, Kenyon? Kenyon's going to comment in the chat. He had the steps on him. But Russell, look, if the camera is Calvin Austin, he did like this. And I sent it to Kenyon and Tony, and I'm like, why didn't he let that rip? The outside corner, I think that might have been Van Jefferson on that side, took him down the field on a vertical. His back is turned. Yo, if he hits Calvin, it is a huge game. Maybe a score with his speed. Doesn't pull the trigger. There was another situation. Go back and watch film. I've shown Kenyon and Tony this as well. A lot of the times throughout this season, guys, corner routes were open. I think I just sent Kenyon and Tony a video maybe a week or two ago with the same situation. The guy pops open right in front of the defense, and Russ never checks for it. Never checks for it. He's always looking here, check down, or outside the numbers. I can't, guys, I promise y'all if y'all go watch it, I cannot count the amount of times that corner routes have popped open against the coverage, and he either doesn't pull the trigger or he doesn't even look. He doesn't even look at that route. And I know what some people are going to say, yeah, it might not be as easy to scan your progression. Okay, fine. But when you go back on the sideline after a series, and I know that's what y'all are looking at on the iPad or the Surface or whatever it is, and you know this is open. I know during the week y'all are looking at certain plays and you see this open. That should become your primary read at some point during the game since we continue to get it open. Wonder Bread from Claude Bishop. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you. Round of applause. It's bad, y'all. Claude Bishop says, Sim, I'm a Tomlin fan, but he and his staff should have been fired after that last game because it was a pathetic effort. Hey, listen, I don't disagree with anybody that feels like Mike Tomlin should have been fired for the effort that I guess you would say that has been put on display. And when I say effort, just the lack of being able to get things done, the Steelers finishing up where they did after being 10-3. I have no problem with anybody saying that. The only thing is, man, Claude, we all know it's not the Steelers' nature. So I don't entertain the firing part until the Pittsburgh Steelers show me that they would fire a coach. So it only takes one time. If they all of a sudden fire Mike Tomlin or sometime in the future, God willing, and we all still watching the Steelers, and they fire somebody, then you will start hearing me say, hey, so-and-so should be fired. But until then, you know what I mean? Until then, I just don't entertain them because they don't do it. Not that I disagree or agree. They just don't do it. So that's the only reason. Round of applause again. Thank you, Claude. Round of applause to the infamous Tim, man, dropping more Wonder Bread. Thank you, brother. He says, when our offense struggles, GP isn't involved. When he gets targets, our offense heats up. After 4 years, actually, I think this is his third season, but, semantics. He said, I don't know why he isn't fed like other number ones. That's coach. Absolutely. You see what I'm saying? And again, guys, yes, Mike Tomlin is the head coach. But we have to put blame on these coordinators as well. You can blame Mike Tomlin for his philosophy. Yes, let me clear this up again because I want to say this near the end of the show, but I'm going to just say a little piece of it. You can blame his philosophy in terms of what he wants to do. Some people think he's conservative, yada, yada, yada. I get all of that. But whatever the game plan is, it is up to the coordinators to orchestrate it, right? They have to call the right plays at the right time and be situationally aware and all of that. And then the players have to execute. That is what has to happen once the ball hikes. You can always look at a head coach and say, I don't like their philosophy. I don't like what we heard their game plan was, blah, blah, blah. Cool. But once the game starts, I have to blame the offensive coordinator for what plays we call. I have to blame the defensive coordinator for what plays they call. Because like I said, when they show the sideline, those are the guys talking. Those are the guys with the play sheet. Just my opinion. There was a comment, guys, I wanted to read up here. Hold on. Where was it? Where was it? It was something about Russ, I think. Did I miss it? I might have missed it, guys, but I probably even shared the comment. Shared my thoughts of the comment because it was very close to something I wanted to say. But if I missed it, maybe I'll get back to it. Ralph Love said, is Tomlin being traded to the Bears? I doubt it very seriously. So, DW, I want to comment on what you're saying. I want everybody else in the chat to comment on this as well. Because, see, I'm a type of person that I don't mind hearing people's thoughts, criticisms, whatever. But I just want to hear the genesis of these thoughts, like where it comes from. DW says, Sim, you've been giving Tomlin too many excuses and passes. Your guy isn't it. Can I ask the chat, when I'm just seriously, for however long you guys have been watching me, when have I displayed that Tomlin is my guy? Like he can't do no wrong. What excuses do I give Tomlin? Even if you guys feel that way, do I not come off as somebody that puts equal blame and credit where it's supposed to be? I always say, I think head coaches get too much blame and too much credit. I think offensive and defensive coordinators have a job that they're supposed to do. I think the head coach is responsible for his overall philosophy and managing the game in terms of situational things like, should I go for it on fourth down? Should we punt? Timeouts, challenges, things of that nature. Once the game starts, coordinators are calling their plays. Mike Tomlin or any head coach will sometimes come over and say, let's go with this time. Largely on a football team, unless you are both head coach and offensive coordinator, both head coach and defensive coordinator, the coordinators are running said group. But I don't understand comments like, your guy, excuses. What excuses? What excuses? I don't understand that. I respect what you're saying, but I don't know where you get that. I really don't. But okay. What else did I have, guys? And I'll look in the chat and see if anybody has a comment on that. What else did I have? Talked about the corner routes. Oh, let's go back to what one of you guys that donated said. We give up the inside position and we give up too much space. Way too much space with the secondary. I just don't understand why we play it like that, guy. There's nothing wrong with playing zone defense. Obviously, there's nothing wrong with playing man defense. Obviously, you can't do either all game. Or some teams just do that. Kansas City, that's what I like about Spag. Spag is going to live and die by his philosophy, and I'm cool with that. We're going to get right in your face. A lot of times, they're going to run straight man on you. Cleveland Browns did that to us, too. They just lined up and they ran man. And, dog, if that's your philosophy, I'm cool with it. But if you play it well and you saying it's mano a mano, you're either going to beat us or you're not, but we're not just going to give it to you. That is the problem I have with our defense. We give the inside position entirely too much, whether it's the outside corner or the slot. And let me tell you this, a lot of times when we decide to press or get hands on somebody, we only do it on one side. Case in point, on the Ravens' second drive, remember that big time over route to Likely, and I think it was on third down, right in front of Cam Sutton, who, again, got beat to the inside. Why? Cam was playing over here, this side of the formation. He literally turns this way and just allows Likely to run right at him and round that thing on out, all the way across the field, and Lamar just sat there. And can I tell y'all a secret? On the other side, Mark Andrews was played via press by Joey Porter. I know, size differential between Porter and Cam Sutton, but let me tell y'all this. We do it even when we have bigger guys on the field. We did it against Cincinnati when we had Trice and Joey Porter Jr. At times when they were both on the field, we still only press one guy. That has been something that we've been doing for years. Why? And even if you don't want to press both, cool. But why do we play it to where we're always losing inside leverage? Why not line up, square up, or line up this shoulder to their inside shoulder? So even if you ain't necessarily playing an inside technique, the way you're lined up, you're still going to make them run at you or run an outside route. And if you get beat, you get beat. But that inside route is too easy. I would much rather a team attempt to throw the ball outside the numbers than giving them easy pitch and catches with slants and over routes. Skinny posts. I don't understand it. And guys, let me give y'all another secret. We do it often out of cover 3 that has one solo safety. We do it often out of cover 1 that has one solo safety. Why? It's time for Wonder Bread, man. Thank you to BQ412 and the infamous Tim again. He just throwing them Wonder Bread out there. Appreciate both of y'all. So BQ says, Sim, cap letters too. He's screaming at me. Wouldn't Tomlin have the ability as the head coach to override decisions by the offensive, either defensive coordinator? Why not do that more often? Of course he does. But, okay. Let me ask y'all a real question. Of course he has the ability to do that. Number one, we don't know when he does or doesn't do in the game, right? So again, a lot of times people, and I'm not saying you saying this, BQ, but when people try to say that you're making excuses for some, I'm just telling you that I don't have the facts. See, sometimes you guys speak as if you have the facts. I believe, not even believe, I know that I am always sticking within the parameter of what I'm saying. I consistently say I do not speculate on things I don't know. I don't speak in absolutes. Way too many people, especially in Steeler Nation, seem to think that they know exactly what's going on. Case in point, again, I don't know if this is your thought, BQ, but people will say things like that. Why don't he do this? Where's the evidence that he doesn't? So what I also say, you also hear me always say, hey, if Tomlin is a part of this, he deserves this criticism too. Y'all have heard me say that a million times on the show. But I'm going to start with the guys who are supposed to be the coaches first until somebody gives me proof. You want proof? Remember that game when Joe Hayden was there and we played against New England and all of them was saying that Mike Tomlin drew up some play on the sideline almost like backyard football and they tricked Tom Brady into getting an interception? So there's your proof that he does override plays at times, but I don't know the frequency of that. So I'm not going to give him all of the credit for it working or when it doesn't work because I don't know the rate in which he's overriding his coaches. And if he's doing that, what is the point of the coaches? So that's all I'm saying, guys. I don't know these things. So you're not going to get me to speak in facts that I don't know about. So I have to start with the position coaches and give Tomlin a piece of the blame as well, because I am sure that there's times, especially on defense, that he has a philosophy or two, but I do not think that he's calling these plays. Now, if you want to ask why he doesn't take over more, fair point, but he's said out of his own mouth for several years, I allow my coaches to coach. I employ them to coach. So I don't have the answer, but I'm not defending him at all. I'm just saying what appears to be based on the eye test. Anything else, as far as speculation, I can't do it. Can't. The infamous Tim says, number 27, 1 versus 1. Jamar is crazy. That's coaching. Yep. And guess what? If that was a Tomlin decision and an Austin decision, they both deserve blame for that. And that one, I would believe Tomlin may have had a hand in that. Because remember when we played Cincinnati the first time, and he was talking about kind of why that matchup was like that. They felt like the size matchup. Remember? He said he felt like the size matchup was an advantage putting Trice on T. Higgins. Or was it vice versa? No. Putting Joy Porter Jr. on T. Higgins because of their body stature. And I remember I came on the show and said, wait, if that's what they really want to do, why wouldn't they put Trice, who was the bigger guy, on T. Higgins? So hearing Tomlin say that, I would only have to believe that, yes, Tomlin and Terrell Austin both agreed on that plan. And I think both of them should not have done that. Why would you leave Chase against Trice alone? But again, in game, Austin is calling the plays. So you see what I'm saying? Philosophy, yes. But it's in terms of saying, oh, they should take over the plays, dog, you're asking for right much. Walter Worthy, man, thank you for that Wonder Bread, brother. I think I threw a round of applause. If I didn't, let me give you at least a little one. Oh, look at this. He says, we complain about JPJ being handsy, and rightfully so. But maybe let him play at least some bump and run where you can legally use your hands. Yes. It's all coaching. But like I said, guys, I don't know who deserves the brunt of the blame. I don't know. But I have to look at the coordinators. Have to. That's all I'm saying. Let's get back to it. What else I got? Freiermuth. How do you not pick up that 3rd and 2, man? Oh, come on, man. What we doing? What we doing? How do you not pick up that 3rd and 2? I'm getting sick of this dude Washington. You know, I respect him because he put his face in the fan, but I'm getting sick of him. Number 29 for the Ravens. I can't remember his first name. That's why I'm calling him number 29. I know his last name is Washington. I don't want to disrespect him. But this dude done made some decent plays against the Steelers this year. Remember, he was the one that forced the fumble on Russell Wilson in that second game in Baltimore. Getting tired of him. But Freiermuth, come on, brother. Come on. Come on. Yeah, I got it, Lanisha. I got it. I got Walter. I read it. Thank you for reminding me. Yeah, come on, brother. Come on, Freiermuth. And why are we not using Darnell Washington more? Like, even if you anticipate that the Ravens might be playing tight and you got to get a quick throw out, put the 6'7" dude out there. Yeah, it's bad, bro. But that's what I got tonight, guys. Again, shout outs to Cam Haywood, man. Played his butt off. Feel so bad for him. Oh, couple more things. I sent this video to Kenyon and Tony. Patrick Queen played like pure garbage in this game. Now, there's a caveat that may allow me to throw him a little bit of bail. They said that Patrick Queen got like 4 IVs. They claimed he was fighting the flu. He should not have been on the field. Okay. But after watching his performance, he should have been pulled. He was not helping anything. And I'm not just going to blame him, but guys, you guys, again, if you watch the film, go count the amount of times when they ran, zone read, how often, not only did we crash the running back, but how all of the linebackers and everybody off ball, flow to one direction. On that first big run by Derrick Henry, I think it was the second quarter, I believe. The one when it was the Wildcat run. It's Derrick Henry, Isaiah Likely beside him, and I forget who the guy was that came in motion. It might have been Bateman. Queen, Roberts, everybody on that side just ran with the jet sweep fake, and they left a clear gap wide open for Derrick Henry. Nobody on this side. Nobody stayed home. Guys, they teach you in Pop Warner. Listen to this. Listen to this for everybody who wants to blame coaches for everything. Even me that said that, yeah, philosophy is on Tomlin and Terrell Austin. But let me prove to you guys what I also say, that I believe the players should be held accountable for things. They taught you in Pop Warner, as they call it. They just call it Little League where I'm from, but most people know it as Pop Warner. For y'all who played, did they not teach you in Pop Warner? When you see a reverse, somebody has to stay home. They usually teach the DN, the edge, or the backside linebacker. Read the action and stay home. Don't just immediately flow with the action. Am I lying, anybody? Any of you guys that played football on any level, whether you were on offense or defense, you heard the instruction. Stay home. Go watch some of those plays from Saturday. The entire off-ball defense flowed to one direction. Even when it was just a regular zone read, they all flowed with the back and left Lamar all alone. but especially on a reverse or jet sweep action. A jet sweep, dog, the backside linebackers got to stay home. And on that particular play, on that Wildcat, everybody flowed with the guy that was running the jet sweep. And they left Derrick Henry, who got it directly snapped to him. Oh, guys, go watch that play. All of y'all who are extended family members that are lit up in green here, y'all are going to see it because I am going to show you that footage. That is on players. I know ain't no coach on the Steelers staff telling them to do that. Ain't no way. So this is what I mean, guys. It's a combination of both, man. It's coaching and it's players, guys. It's not just one. That's all I'm trying to say when I say my opinions. Everything is not on just the head coach. He's the captain of the ship, yes. But he is not responsible for everything that happens. We all have been a part, most of us have been a part of team sports. Some of you guys are a part of a team right now on your job. Isn't it somebody or a couple people on your team that do things that you didn't do, but the whole team is seen? Some of you guys, like me, are in management. There are things that staff does that I had no control of. Matter of fact, and I'll keep it light because you never know who watches this. Myself and another one of the managers today was in a meeting for almost over 3 hours, correcting something that somebody under us did that is just catastrophic. But I was able to fix it. And I say I because I was able to give the instruction to the other manager. Oh, yeah, I've seen this before. This is what we need to do. But that ain't had nothing to do with my teaching. You understand me? Everybody on my team knows how to do these things and are expected to. But when they make a mistake, they made the mistake. It didn't happen because they weren't taught or that we don't have documentation for almost every single procedure that we do. I mean, word for word documentation. But obviously, if the team looks bad, they're going to look at the managers. And I wear that. But do y'all understand what I'm saying? You know what I mean? And then my boss will be responsible for whatever the whole collective does. It's the chain of command, but the nitty gritty, I'm not going to say not be accountable because I step up as a manager and I own it. We'll get that taken care of. But I am not there every second of the day to see what said person is doing. They have a job to do. It's the same way on a football field. The players have a job to do. Coaches have a job to do. Mike Tomlin cannot control like how people always try to say, oh, penalties. Oh, that's Tomlin's fault. They're not disciplined. No, that's the players' fault. That ain't Mike Tomlin's fault. That ain't Andy Reid's fault. That ain't Sean Payton's fault. That's not Dan Quinn's fault. It's the players. And what do y'all say? Oh, the Patriots used to be so disciplined and Bill Belichick, he doesn't put up with that. Yeah, y'all remember how often it used to happen as well with them? There was times where they got stupid penalties. Was it all on Bill Belichick? No. Penalties, I don't care what nobody say. My opinion, respect yours. Penalties are an individual thing. I can't make you be disciplined. I can teach discipline and pound it into your head, but you have to carry it out. That's one of the most cringy things I hear people say. He's responsible. How can I be responsible for your discipline? Let me throw one at y'all. All my lovely family members here on the show. How many times have y'all heard me say, hey, we all real people. You know, we do things outside the show and all that, talk a certain way, whatever, use what type of language. Cool. I don't promote profanity on the show. I don't curse on the show, any of that, because, could be young kids watching, yada, yada, yada. It could be people that don't want to hear that type of talk, so I don't do it. And how many times have we had calls into this show, and what y'all do? Drop all the words. The F-bomb, the N-bomb, every word. Have we not heard it? So even though I am the quote unquote, this is my show, I can't make y'all be disciplined. I can only teach it. Right? That's just my philosophy. I could be dead wrong. I'm just saying. We all have heard calls into this show, and then y'all be like, oh, dang, my bad, Sim. Yeah, you're right. It's your bad. And I'd be like, it's all good. But that was on you, not me. So nobody can listen to the show and say, dang, man, it was a dude on the show, and he said this word, and then, man, how could Sim allow that? That's the equivalent. That's the equivalent. But, man, I don't know. But anyway, all right, let's talk about Mike Tomlin really quick, guys. Then I'll get out of here. I'm gonna make this short because I just said it a couple weeks ago. Do you believe do you believe the Rooney holds Tomlin accountable behind closed doors? That's a good question. I'm sure they do, but listen. See, now you just introduced something else in the conversation. So I'm going to try to condense this conversation. I've said it a few times, but let's just say it again for some newcomers. Newsflash that we all got to be aware of. The Rooneys like Mike Tomlin, y'all. They do. Let me explain to y'all why they like him. Before I go into this, let me clarify my statement and say, I'm going to say it clearly. This is my speculation. This is SimFBallCritic's speculation. Have no facts here. This is just my thought, right? I'm not going to say this to y'all as if I know for a fact. I'm just trying to give educated guess. But I'm not going to stamp it like I know for sure, because I don't. But this is why I believe the Rooneys like Mike Tomlin. Pittsburgh Steelers are one of two teams that have the most Super Bowls in NFL history. It is the Steelers and the Patriots. They both have 6. The Patriots' run was in the 2000s. They had a heck of a run, man, with Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. Heck of a run. They were the dynasty team. They were what appears to be what Kansas City is chasing. That was them. And only them. The Pittsburgh Steelers did that in the 70s. If you're like me, didn't see them myself, but we all know about it. I've seen some of those games. I've watched a couple of those Super Bowls because I'm a fan. I wanted to really see, the Steel Curtain and all them boys go to work. They won 4 in the 70s. 4. And the next Super Bowl didn't come until, what was it, Super Bowl 43 with Ben Roethlisberger. What year was that, guys? 2005, I think, because Ben was a rookie in 2004 to 2005. So the 2005 to 2006 season was when he won it, right? So look at that long span of years that they didn't have a Super Bowl. Understood. We then go back to the Super Bowl a few years later. Like what, 4 years or so later? Tomlin's 3rd year, I think it was, might have been 2nd, but 2nd or 3rd season. We win another one. Whoa. Steelers got 2 just like that, within like a 6-year span. They get to another Super Bowl a couple years later. Lose it. Had an opportunity to win that. I know some people still blame Mendenhall. But there's no guarantee that we would have won the game because we still were down. We were just driving. Right? And In all of these years of Super Bowls in the existence of the NFL, the highest number is 6. 6 is the highest number of any team of all of those years. And the Steelers are one of the few teams that have it. And we did it first. So now let me put this in a little package. Ownership knows that that's not an easy thing. I think owners around the league know it doesn't come every day. I think the Rooney family still has pride. They hold their chest up. We are one of 2 teams that has the most ever. We are the standard in terms of winning culture. But then there becomes a time, guys, where winning is also this. Y'all don't want to hear this, but I'm putting on my businessman hat. Let me turn it to the back. Even though I know a businessman wouldn't wear his hat to the back. Let me bring it back to the front. The Steelers win in revenue every year. Because not just Mike Tomlin's, I think, they said the Steelers have not had a losing season in 21 seasons. Mike Tomlin is 18. But do you know what that does for an organization? It keeps them a premier franchise. It keeps them with the bread. Not the Wonder Bread that I be getting here on the show, and I thank y'all for it. No, the big bread. The big bucks. Look at that. Wonder Bread just dropped. I'll get you in a second. I don't want to forget this thought. It keeps the money. It keeps the name recognition. It keeps the relevance. I think that's the reason why he keeps his job. Now, let's talk turkey right now, like they would say back in the day. The old school players would say, let's talk turkey. We ain't won no playoff games since 2016. I don't feel good to the Steelers, and I'm sure it don't feel good to the ownership either. But you just think, guys, it's going to be hard for them, for an organization that's never fired a head coach. It would be very hard for them to fire a guy who has not had a losing season. Yes, he's lost in the playoffs. All of them lost in the playoffs. Yes, I think he's 8-11 now. I give you that. I get it. But I do believe that they like Mike Tomlin. That is the reason. Remember, guys, last year he got extended for 3 years. 3, not including 2024. They say the extension starts after this season. That's 3 more seasons. And if you really had him on, here's the kicker. If you really had him on the hot seat, why do you extend him 3 years? Do a 1-year extension. Make the 2024-2025 season a hot seat season. They didn't do that. They gave him 3 more years on top of losing the playoffs. So to answer my man's question, I don't think they hold him accountable the way we think they do. I think that they feel like Mike Tomlin is an excellent coach. I do believe that. You don't, listen, take my opinion out of it. Take my speculation out of it. You don't extend a coach that long. Ask yourselves that. Can I ask y'all that? And I know there's going to be one comment. I can anticipate a comment that's going to come from somebody in this chat. And when y'all say it, I'm going to point it out. But can y'all tell me why he has been a Pittsburgh Steelers coach for 18 years? And has 3 more years on his contract? Can y'all tell me the reason why they do that? Can y'all tell me the reason why they didn't just let the contract expire this season where they wouldn't have had to fire? That must mean that they like him. So we can kick him on, kick and scream all we want. It's the organization likes Mike Tomlin. So, that's why I don't waste my time, man. Because all of the stuff that you would like, or some of y'all would like, it's not going to matter. Because the organization likes the man. They love him, man. So again, we have fan eyes on. We don't have all of the ins and outs, right? We don't have all of the daily things that happens on a daily basis. Hard Knocks give you a peek behind it. But I really believe that the ownership thinks that they have the guy that can win them a Super Bowl in the right situation. However, Mike Tomlin, like I said the other night, the philosophy has to change, man. I do not believe Mike Tomlin is going to be fired. Let's kill that. I do not believe Mike Tomlin gets traded. Let's kill that. I do not believe that Mike Tomlin steps down. Let's kill that. And I do not believe that Tomlin is going to get together with the Rooneys and say we mutually part ways. I don't think any of those happen. And since I don't think that's going to happen, what I need Mike Tomlin to do is really dig deep and get out of his normal philosophy that he's been using for X amount of years. You're going to have to get back in that Todd Haley bag offensively. And I'm just talking about doing something a little outside of the normal structure. You can still have a plan to run the football, but you've got to have a multiple attack. Your arch nemesis, almost your twin, right? Let's face it, the Ravens and the Steelers are very much so alike as far as the grit and the way they play. That's why the rivalry is so great. That's why you respect it. They doing exactly what you want to do, but they have multiple ways to attack. They're not so stagnant. They're not so static on offense. Yeah, they have a quarterback that can help facilitate that run game that's so potent. But guess what? Pittsburgh Steelers, you also have a quarterback that could pose the same threat. So this is what I want Mike Tomlin to do. If Mike Tomlin has the autonomy, if he has the ability to fire a defensive coordinator or offensive coordinator, what I would like for him to do, move on from Terrell Austin. We can agree or disagree about Arthur Smith, but at least he was an outside hire. Bring in an outside guy. Hey, bring in a new guy, young guy with young ideas, and let these dogs go to work. If we're in a rebuild period, it's time to try everything. That's number one. Number two, if and only if Arthur Smith goes on an interview and takes one of those head coaching jobs, then I want you to bring in a guy with a different philosophy offensively. Hey, bring in an offensive assistant, even if you don't relieve the actual duties. Bring in an offensive assistant. I've seen people throw John Gruden around. I'm not opposed to anything. Bring in an offensive assistant, kind of like what you did with Brian Flores. And you'll give him some type of title, but he's an assistant. Do that. You have to do that. And here's the last thing I would want us to do if I had it my way. We're in a rebuild anyway. Let's not sign Russell Wilson back. Let's give the keys to Justin Fields and see what happens. Because guess what? When you're drafting at 21, you're not going to get the projected top quarterbacks. If you want to grab a quarterback later in the draft, and he's a guy that's a later round pick, like a Russell Wilson, one of these guys, like a Dak Prescott, that you get in the third and fourth round and you can develop, cool. But re-sign Justin Fields, who wants to be there, who's what, going to be 26? And just give it a try. Full time. And build the offense around him exactly the way Lamar Jackson had the offense built around him when he took over for Flacco. Since you want to be a running team, mimic what they do. Let me pose a question to y'all, Steeler Nation. How potent would our offense be with Jaylen Warren in the backfield, the way he runs the football, and Lamar Jackson, Justin Fields doing zone reads? Not so much Najee Harris. Jaylen Warren because Jaylen Warren hits it and go. Jaylen Warren often picks the right hole. Come on, man. It ain't even going to take that much for Fields, Sonny. He's not getting no $100 million. Because Justin Fields, I don't think his value ain't up. And I don't know if we did this on purpose, but they strategically played that to where his value didn't skyrocket. And he wants to be in Pittsburgh. So I think any fair deal that you throw at him, he takes. If he knows he's the man. That's what I would like to see them do, man. Absolutely. That's where I'm at right now. I mean, we're a long way from draft. We're a long way from free agency, but that's what I would like to see them do. Come on, man. So I think that would work, man. And just give it a shot, bro. Since you want to be a run-heavy team, run heavy with a quarterback that has a threat to run. Think about it. How many touchdowns did Justin Fields score with his legs early? It could work. Get him more comfortable. Continue to work on his accuracy. Give him some better reads, please. Not that same vanilla 1 or 2 routes. And we in there. And also, that's just my thoughts, man. Yeah, that's what I got. But I love some of the conversation that you guys are having. Again, man, a lot of you guys have conversations that you can't confirm. And that's cool. I'll let y'all do that. I just don't work in those parameters saying, well, if this would have happened, if that would have happened, and then this guy's team never would have did. Speculation, guys. It's speculation. And then you hear about George Pickens. They saying this dude was late to the Christmas game. That's a report. Like, man, I don't know how Tomlin has done it with some of these diva wide receivers. I don't. Yes. See, and that's the thing, Wave Dave, that cracks me up. I remember when people were kicking and screaming for Cowher to be fired. That's the only point I try to make to you guys as a fan base. Y'all think y'all are happy. You're never satisfied. Your expectations of winning is through the roof. Fair, I guess, because the Steelers are accustomed to winning. But I remember when they wanted to throw Cowher down the escalator, bro. Yes, I remember that. I literally remember people saying, I'll take that chin. And so I actually hope it happens, man. I said that before. So we can start a new journey. I hope somehow Tomlin and the Rooneys do actually come to a mutual agreement and they part ways. We get a new coach in. I can't wait to see how y'all act. Can't wait to see how y'all act. Cannot wait to see it. If it takes that coach. Matter of fact, let me give y'all something else before I get out of here. I don't believe the Steelers fan base could withstand a Dan Campbell scenario. What am I saying, y'all might say? How many years did it take Dan Campbell? Was it 2 or 3? Somebody help me out. Was his first 2 or 3 seasons losing seasons? I want to say it was 3. Somebody help me out. 2, okay. Y'all can't handle that. Y'all can't handle that. I could put anything on it. I'm speculating, but I do not think that Steeler Nation, some of you right in this chat, could not handle a 2-year losing streak. Absolutely not. Y'all would lose your mind, especially if we lost the way that Dan Campbell lost in his first season. Oh my Lord. Y'all would be losing every piece of mind that you have. I know you couldn't handle it. And it's likely, oh, look, and they said he went 98 in third year and missed the play. Yeah, it's likely that happens when you bring a new coach in. It's possible that a new coach comes in and he starts winning in his first year, but the odds say it's more likely that you don't win in the first year. So I'm almost certain that Steelers Nation could not survive a 2-year losing streak. They can't. Y'all can't. Y'all can't. Admit it. But I can't wait to see it. I can't wait to see it. I can't. And I almost guarantee somebody would say by that second season, man, Steelers should have kept Mike Tomlin. Steelers are so dumb. I don't know why they parted ways with Mike Tomlin. I can see it now. Because we fickle. Flip-flops. Flip-flop, flip-flop, flip-flop. That is still a nation. Yo, I'm telling you. Remember who said it? If the day it comes, I'm telling you, I'm going to have so much fun on the show. I'm going to have so much fun just laughing like, see, I told y'all. All right, man, let me get out of here. I've been here talking too long, man. It's 9:17. Again, tomorrow's my second commute day, man, into DC. So I got to get my iron clothes together and go to sleep. But all right, man, that's all I got, man. We'll be back next week, guys. We'll be back next week. I'm going to try to pull some more content throughout the week. Like I said, I'm going to start, reviewing and utilizing a lot of these websites to just get some random topics to bring to us. So we can keep this train moving, man, and we can continue to have fun throughout this off season. A lot of y'all have rocked with me through and through, during the season, after the season, all of that. And I appreciate y'all, man, trying to give us a good platform. Like I said, next week, we'll have phone calls back because I want to hear you guys sound off. I want to hear y'all sound off. But all right, man, before we go, y'all know the routine, man. If you like what you saw here tonight, make sure you hit the like button. If you enjoy the content and you haven't already, consider subscribing to the channel. And last but not least, of course, you might want to turn on your notification bell so you know when videos are streaming or have been uploaded, as well as share the stream, share the videos, man. Share the channel. Share it with somebody else that you think that might enjoy it. And before we go, make sure y'all do me the favor of staying safe. Stay healthy. God bless. Good night. Like always, I thank each and every one of you all for tuning in, and I shall catch you in the next one. Peace.